Hi, Lion families, and welcome back to another great school year. I hope you all have had a wonderful summer. For those of you who are returning, first through fifth graders, you still have a few more days left. July 30th is our deadline for our summer learning challenges for iReady Reading and for Success Maker or iReady Math Minutes. So keep up the hard work. So proud of you all. A lot of you attended summer school at H.L. Johnson this summer. So thank you for your dedication and your hard work. And most importantly, I hope you enjoyed time with your family, enjoyed time outdoors, did some reading, and just overall are refreshed and ready for a wonderful year. This is our back to school presentation. It will be number one of two because in a week I will take your questions over the next week. And then I will give you any updates of things that might change prior to the first day of school, August 10th. So let's get started. First and foremost, student health protocols. One thing that is going to be consistent this year from last year is that we do need to continue to be sure that we're screening our students each morning and that they are staying home if they exhibit symptoms of COVID-19. Students may then return back to school once they are symptom-free, including if they do not have a fever of 100.4 and they're not taking any fever-reducing medications. Here's a list of symptoms. So please monitor your children. If students do become symptomatic at school, they will be continued to be sent to the nurse. And that will then initiate the protocols that our nurse will use just like last school year. Facial coverings are now going to be optional at all times for our students. Students and/or students' parents and guardians must self-report a positive COVID-19 test to me. And we're asking that you do that no later than the following school day. I can't thank you all enough last year for your communication and your openness when your child or a household member was exposed to COVID-19 or unfortunately tested positive. That safety is going to continue this school year. And I really appreciate your partnership, and please know that I will always be here to support your family, but please communicate with us if those circumstances do arise. For visitor health protocols, access to district property will continue to be limited to students, staff, and pre-approved parents, guardians, and guests with my approval. Now, we are going to be reopening campus in several different ways, but we are not going to reopen fully like we were before the pandemic started. So I'll share a little bit more with you, but please understand that we still have the need to limit visitors on campus, but we are going to look at opportunities to open campus again safely. And face coverings are also optional at all times for our visitors, and we'll no longer be taking temperatures and screening at the front office, but we do ask that you self-screen and do not come on campus if you exhibit symptoms or if you've been in close contact with someone who tested positive for COVID-19. Okay, so now let's talk about arrival procedures. So first of all, a majority of you are car riders. Drop-off begins at 7:30 each morning. As always, we'll have staff that'll be positioned outside along the car loop. Now this year, though, we are going to be allowing more students to unload at the same time because we'll have everybody back. And so approximately 10 cars at a time, but we'll position staff members to show you in motion when it's okay for your children to get out of the car. Most importantly, though, just please wait until the cars have stopped. And if you do see that cars are moving in front of you, just continue to pull up until the cars have stopped, and we'll try to get as many students out as possible. Students will now have the option to sanitize their hands when they come on campus. It will not be required like it was last year. And then if needed, students will stop for grab-and-go breakfast to eat in the classroom. So right here, you'll see the little sunshine icon. That's where our breakfast cart is in the morning. We will continue to do grab and go breakfast. They'll have a hot or a cold option every day, and students will just grab and go straight to the classroom in the morning. Now, two things that will be different about our car riders for this year. One of them is that we will open up both of our gates. So if you were here last year, we only had this gate right here open, but this year we're going to open up both gates. And if your child gets out of the car, like over here on this side, then they'll walk in this way. But if they get out of the car down here, they'll walk into that gate. Another thing that's new this year is that we are creating a student assistance zone. One thing that always worries me is that, we do have, some students who need additional assistance, and we're getting out of our cars to help them. We want to provide that opportunity, but it always worries me because we have to continue the flow of traffic, and we, pass each other when that happens. So we wanted to create an assistance zone, and we'll mark it with blue delineators, just like you might see like on the highway, separating the fast pass lanes on the highway. We'll have those set up, and if you'll please pull your car into that area and do not unload until you get into that area, that will then be where you then can get out of your car, help your smaller child if they are still in a car seat or they're in a booster seat, or if you do have multiple children in the back seat, and let's say you have a baby and your child needs to get out on the driver's side, then you'll get out to help them, but you'll have to be in that student assistance zone. We do ask, though, that you try to have your children get out on the passenger side. So if you can make arrangements in your back seat like that, and then if all possible, try to get your child ready to get out of the car by themselves. That way we can just keep our cars moving and safely help our children get out. Again, we'll have a lot of staff members out there, but please only get out of your car if you are in the student assistance zone marked by those blue delineators. We are going to continue to only have one walker gate open. So the west walker gate, just like last year, is going to be the only gate open. So this is going to be utilized for students who walk or ride a bike or scooter to school. This is not a car drop-off area. So we are going to continue to enforce that this year. So please do not drop off your students there. This is really just for students who walk or ride. As parents, you can escort them, walk with them, ride your bike with them, but it's not a place to park your car and drop off your child. Students will have the option to sanitize when they come in, and again, we'll have grab and go breakfast as well. And here's the pathway that they'll be walking in the morning. And then bus riders, they will be supervised as they exit the bus and enter campus. These are the arrows of directions. If a student does not need breakfast, they'll just go straight into the 200 building. If they need breakfast, they'll sanitize if they'd like, and then they can walk this way to grab breakfast. So we really have one continuous flow into our 200 building. It provides us a lot of supervision, and it also provides us just with limited access to our campus in the morning, so we don't have students all over our campus. So some additional procedures in the morning to remind your students. Our common restrooms are going to be closed every morning until 8 o'clock. So that would be in the 200 building, 300, or in the 400. If a student is in grades K through 3, a majority of our third grade and all of our K through 2 have bathrooms in the classroom. And so they can just use the restroom when they get to class. But one of our third grade rooms and then all of our fourth and fifth grade rooms do not have restrooms. So those students use a common restroom. So they'll have to wait until after 8 o'clock in order to then have permission from the teacher to go. During heavy rain or severe weather, we will not use the courtyard, and we'll have students walk in through a covered outdoor hallways. At that time, though, we may deliver breakfast to class. So, and just please be flexible. Those are days where the car line is going to be a little longer, but we are trying to get everyone into class safely. And then if you are running late after 8 o'clock, we are going to continue to have tardies. That would be after the 8 o'clock bell rings. But we aren't going to have parents get out and walk their children again this year. We'll have a staff member out there who will take down your child's name so we can mark them tardy, and then we'll supervise them as they walk to class. So again, please remain in your car. Overall, in general, if you do need an appointment or you have any questions, it's best just to call the office first, and then we'll be happy to help you. So thank you again for your patience. We are going to continue to have some safety items around campus, though. We will have hallways that are going to be marked with arrows, and then our cafeteria as well will have arrows to help with directions and flow. We also are going to continue to have the hand sanitizer stations open with markings where students can stand for distancing. And then we'll have our grab and go breakfast cart as a way to not use the cafeteria in the morning to keep students more distance and flowing into class. So like I mentioned, we do have a common restroom in the 200 building. This is going to be monitored at all times. We are going to continue to have a hallway monitor, an adult staff member who will be in the hallway. And when children need to go to the restroom in those grade levels, they are going to go one boy, one girl at a time, so that we have no more than one student in the restroom at a time. We're going to do that for social distancing, and we'll have that hallway monitor there to help monitor as well. Our clinic will remain in the 200 building, and that allows the children to stay in the building. They can be supervised. They don't have to leave and go to another building. So that is a great benefit for our school. If a student has a symptom of COVID-19, they will be sent to the nurse to be evaluated. If it's deemed necessary by the nurse or a designee, someone who would cover the nurse if she is not here that day, then the student will be monitored in a separate location, and then you'll be notified to come and pick up the child. One thing that has changed this year is that the district is not requiring that children be out for 10 days or are required to be tested to return to school. But students, though, do need to be symptom-free in order to come back. Rapid testing will continue to be offered if your family would like. You'll have to sign consent on a permission slip, but then if you'd like to, you can do that. Kindergarten through second grade families, you have to physically be present when the nurse administers. The rapid is the short swab, and it is a 15-minute results. It's only given, though, if a student is symptomatic and they meet the criteria to have to go home. But your family will have that choice. If they're in grades 3 through 5, then you don't have to be present, but you still have to give your written consent. So fine arts are going to resume this year again in the fine arts rooms. Fine arts include art, music, our STEM lab, and PE at the PE pavilion. Assigned seating will be utilized. So one thing we're going to do this year is ensure that we still are contact tracing. The Department of Health is still going to require that there's contact tracing. So we need to know who is being in close contact with each other during the day. So if a child is sitting in a spot in their classroom, they are going to have an assigned number according to that spot. That number will then be utilized in fine arts so that we know where the students are sitting at all times, so that if we do happen to have any cases of COVID-19 and we have to perform contact tracing, we will know what type of close contacts there were that day, and it's not going to, possibly have an exposure to the entire classroom, according to the definition of close contacts. We are going to establish traffic patterns too, just to be sure that we can limit any crossing of classes as they're transitioning. So we'll really try to keep the flow of traffic in one direction as we're transitioning around campus. Recess will also continue on regular schedule, and playground equipment will continue to be open like it was at the end of last school year. So lunches will also resume in the cafeteria this year, and one grade level at a time will be eating. Seating will be arranged 3 feet apart, and we are going to have assigned seating. So again, if a child is number 5 in their classroom, they're going to sit at the number 5 spot in lunch. They'll also sit at the number 5 spot in art and in music. So we're really going to be, monitoring to be sure that our students are going to be in their assigned seating. Movement will also be minimized, so we're going to do our best to be sure that students aren't up and around and moving to go back to get ketchup or to go and get something. We're going to, utilize our adults who are in there for assistance, so we keep our students, in their assigned seats and we're not moving all around. We'll also have systems that will be utilized to be sure that the arrival and dismissal of students in and out of the cafeteria is done in an orderly manner. Just to prevent any crossing of traffic. Again, that would, we're trying to limit the exposure of students as much as possible. So classroom procedures. Our kindergarten and first grade will be in the same classroom all day unless they receive additional support. Then they'll be pulled out to go to a smaller group. Students in grades 2 through 5 will rotate classrooms for their academic subjects. So that's new for second grade this year. We are excited about that, and you'll get more information if you have a second grader. And then 3 through 5 traditionally have done this, but last year we did keep the students in one place all day, but this year we are going to have the students rotate again like we traditionally have. Students will be seating approximately 3 feet in the classrooms as available. And then also any desks that are shared with other students will be sanitized between classes. Small group instruction. Teachers who provide small group instruction will do their best to keep students 3 feet apart as much as possible. Students who receive services like ESE or ESOL, or maybe they're going to go to a resource teacher, they'll be pulled out of the room into a separate room where we will be able to space them better, because we do that because then we have students from different classrooms who are working together. And so we want to be sure that those students are not in close contact with each other, whereas the students in the classroom, we're going to do our best to keep social distancing. But again, with everybody returning back to school, it is going to be difficult to maintain 6 feet like we did last year. So we're going to try our best to aim for 3 feet. Dismissal. One word of caution that I have to give parents for car riders especially is that last year we started our dismissal 15 minutes early every day. We did that because we had to closely monitor and keep social distancing. So I just want to caution you that that is not going to happen again this year. We have to get back to 2 o'clock dismissal time. So please note that as we go through this slide. So bus riders will continue to be dismissed first. They're going to start at 2 o'clock every day, except for the first week of school. First week of school, we'll start them at 1:45, but 2 o'clock is when they will starting August 16th. But they will be supervised by teachers and staff, and we're not going to just dismiss all of them at once. We are going to continue to do an orderly process. Then as soon as the hallway's clear, we'll go to our walkers next. They will be dismissed, and then we'll have our teachers waiting there for them to line them up. This will begin approximately at 2:05, but 1:50 the first week of school. As soon as they're gone, then we immediately begin our car rider dismissal. And our aftercare students will also then begin dismissing at that point. They are going to remain in the classrooms. And at the next slide, I'll talk to you about the procedure that we'll use that is the same as last year. We are going to begin that at approximately 2:10 every day. So again, just a word of caution. Last year, we started our car riders at about 1:55, 2 o'clock every day. This year, it's going to be more like 2:10. So, please adjust to that, and please make arrangements. So for our car riders, again, we're going to utilize a 3-digit number system. If your child is a 3rd grader, for example, the first digit will be a 3. And then they'll also have the first letter of their teacher's last name, their homeroom teacher. So for example, if they're in Mr. Ruggiero's homeroom, they will be number 300 something, and then with the letter R at the end. Please display this in your car every afternoon, and we'll have a staff member out in the car loop who will type in your number. So please go a little slow and stop when you see the staff member out there so that he or she can type in your 3-digit number, and then you'll proceed through the car loop. And by the time that you get up to the office area, your child will then be making their way out to the car loop. When they see their number, they will proceed out. They will be supervised all along the way, and then they'll get out there about the same time that you do. We will continue at that time to have our student assistance zone. So if your child does require additional assistance and you need to get out of your vehicle, please do not get out of your vehicle until you are in the student assistance zone. That might mean that your child is there waiting for you. We will send them to the end where the blue delineators are, and they'll be there waiting for you. And again, please don't get out of your vehicle until you're within those blue delineators. Each family will be given 2 copies of the car tags at Meet the Teacher. If you need more, please request those through your teacher or through the front office. We do give 1 for each group of families. So what we're going to do this year is, if we know your family and we know you have multiple siblings, we're going to add multiple numbers on there for you. If we don't know that you have multiple siblings, then you can always then just hang up both or hold them up as you drive through, or maybe you have more than one. But if we know your family has multiple siblings, we're going to do our best to actually add multiple numbers to 1 car tag, just to make it more convenient for you. And please note that if you do not have a car tag, you'll have to be ready to park your car and show your ID. If you are sending someone to come pick up your child, they need to be on our pickup list. And that is done through the new registration form every year, or by calling the office to add people to that list. They will have to be on the list and will have to see an ID. So that's why the car tags are so important. It just keeps things moving, and we don't have to stop and check IDs as much. For severe weather, what we will do is we will we'll have our students stay in the classroom, and you'll use your pickup car tag instead to drive through. We will not be allowing parents to walk up on those days. If your child is a walker, for their safety, we will keep them in the classroom, and we ask that you use your car tag, because everyone will get a car tag. We ask that you use your car tag to use a car to drive through. If your family does not have the ability to do that, then we ask that you wait until the lightning warning is all clear. And if any student walks home or rides a bike, then they're going to have to wait, and we'll hold them and we'll supervise them until the lightning warning is gone. So this is why it's crucial to have a car tag for every student, so that you can use it in case your child's a walker and there's severe weather. Our Cub Club is going to be utilizing all the same safety procedures that we do during the school day. Another thing that Miss Kelly and Cub Club is going to do this year is they are going to allow pickup to be done through walk-up again, like we traditionally have. Last year we had you remain in your vehicle, but this year we are going to allow walk-up for signing out your child each day. Again, masks are optional for visitors, but we do ask that you keep social distancing and be mindful when you're doing that. Early dismissal can occur anytime before 1:30. Please understand that if it's after 1:30 p.m., we cannot dismiss your child. So if you know they have an appointment, if it's something that you can anticipate, please make those arrangements. And another thing that's really helpful is that you let the teacher know, because if you're picking up your child early, that child might be at recess or they might be in the cafeteria when you come. If we know that you're coming, we'll have your child wear their backpack, and it'll make it a lot easier when they go home. Instead, we'd have to have the child go all the way back to the room, and it takes longer. So please let us know in advance if you are going to pick your child up early, and then you'll come up to the office. You'll see a little camera there and a doorbell, and we'll ask you to present your ID, and you'll just hold it up to the camera just like you see in the photo here. So here are some tips as we return to school. Please send your child with a water bottle each day so that they can fill it up. We'll continue, though, to close off the water fountains in order to help, with the spread of the virus. So we'll only have those water fountains open for filling of water bottles. Please have your child bring his or her Chromebook back. If they took it home this summer, please bring it back to school, because that Chromebook will then be assigned to them for this school year. Don't forget the charger as well. If your child did not take a Chromebook home, or if you're brand new to our school, then your child will be assigned a Chromebook on the first day of school, and that will be theirs for the entire year. And then it's up to the teachers to determine the procedures for whether or not they stay home all day, or maybe certain times they might be able to be brought home. And then also, too, just a reminder, if you don't have a supply list or you don't know our dress code policy, please visit our school website or contact the main office. All right, back to school events. So August 2nd and 3rd, we want to get to know our new kindergarten students, and we want to get a feel for where they are as a reader, especially. So we are having kindergarten readiness screenings. I sent an email out a week or two ago to kindergarten families. Anyone who's registered since then was asked if they would like to participate. So please go back to that email or contact us in the main office before August 2nd and 3rd, and we can sign you up. It'll be about a 20-minute screening, so we'll sign you up in 30-minute windows. The August 9th is going to be our Meet the Teacher. Now, we are going to go back to an in-person event. You are going to be welcome to walk your child to the classroom. Face coverings are optional, but again, we request that you do be mindful and social distance. And also, this won't be a time where you'll get to spend a lot of time in your child's classroom. It really is more of a, drop and go type event. Definitely you'll get to meet the teacher, ask questions, but we do want to be mindful that it's an opportunity to find out where your child's class is, help them feel comfortable, drop off school supplies so they don't have a heavy load the first day of school. But it won't be an opportunity where you'll be able to spend a lot of time, just so we can continue as much distancing as possible. We are doing it 1 hour at a time, so we do appreciate your patience. We understand that this could be a burden if you have 2-3 children at our school, but we need to do this to limit the number of people on campus. So we ask that you please be mindful of that. For example, if you have a 5th grader and a 1st grader, if you come at 8 o'clock, the 1st grade teacher won't be available at 8 o'clock. Our teachers are scheduling their day. So you can contact the teacher to make additional arrangements, to see if they're available at a different time. But we do, to drop off supplies. But please be mindful, it's not an open house for all 6 of our grade levels that day. If you are brand new to our school, or if you are a kindergartner or like a 1st grade family of a virtual student from last year, we really want to provide you with that opportunity to help your child become as familiar as possible before the first day. And if you can't make it on August 9th, please contact me or contact the main office or make arrangements with your child's teacher. we really want to try to accommodate you as much as possible. But August 9th is really the best time for you to do that, and we hope to see you there. August 10th is the first day of school. Now for kindergarten, it is the first day for anyone whose last name is between an A and the letter I. This is called staggered start, and we do this so that our kindergartners can have a small class and really bond with their teacher and learn procedures in a really small group. That day, kindergarten families of those students can walk their children to class. It is the first day for 1st through 5th grade, everybody, but we cannot allow 1st through 5th grade parents to walk their children to class. We need to limit the number of people on campus, and especially with all of our students coming back, we can't allow that many visitors. So please be mindful of that. Please understand. August 11th will then be the first day of school just for our J through R last name kindergartners. Anyone A through I or S through Z, you would be staying home that day. So our J through R students can have the opportunity to have a small environment for their first day. Again, only families of J through R students on August 11th in kindergarten can walk to class. And then August 12th is the first day for kindergartners last names S through Z. Families of those children can walk them to class because that is their first official day. And then August 13th, all of our kindergartners will be here at once, including all of our 1st through 5th graders every day. And then at that point, though, kindergarten families, we have to then utilize our regular drop-off procedures. So August 13th, no kindergarten families are walking the students to class. And at that point, we're utilizing our regular procedures. The first day of school folder. This is something that's going to be really important because there's a few items in there that we really want to be sure that you get. And then that folder is something that's going to be a daily communication folder along with the agenda books that we have for our 2nd through 5th graders as well. So there are going to be 2 items in there especially that I want you to take note of. If you are a returning student, then you please fill out the registration form. This is done every year so we get updated information, especially phone numbers, email, and we get updated information about medical information, and then also your pickup list and your emergency contacts. So very important. If you're a brand new student or a kindergartner, you don't need to worry about that. You did that as part of your registration process. I also encourage you, please indicate that you'd like to receive email and text messages, especially email. I communicate with you through that a lot. And then there's also our Things to Know handbook. This is about 8 pages or so of just important school procedures. And then there's an acknowledgement form that you'll please sign and return, along with possibly some other things that you're going to be returning, including the registration form. Other important items to start the year. Again, we are going to look at families and visitors returning back to campus this year, but in a cautious and safe way. So you saw Meet the Teacher is going to be back again, but limited. So there are a few other things we're going to start to do again. First of all, we are going to allow families on campus for approved conferences with teachers and meetings. Just like you always would, please come to the main office and sign in first. And then you can enjoy your meeting and conference with your teachers. And then the second thing that we're going to do is begin to allow your family to enjoy lunch with your child, but we're only going to limit it to just your child's birthday. If your child has a birthday on a Saturday or Sunday, you can come on that Friday, or if it's over a holiday break, you can come that last day before. We really value your family and your participation at school. So this was something that we wanted to do, but we need to limit it because we're reopening our cafeteria and we need to focus on the safety in the cafeteria. And we just cannot at this point have so many visitors, eating lunch like we would before the pandemic started. So you can come to eat lunch with your child on their birthday. You will eat with them outside under the pavilion or in the courtyard. And then if you want to bring treats for the class, they have to be prepackaged. They have to be store-bought. We encourage you to do things like a goodie bag, but if you do bring something like cupcakes, then we're not going to pass them out at lunch like we traditionally have. Instead, the teacher would take them back to the room, and they would be distributed as like a working treat that day. So the students would eat their treat while doing their lessons and schoolwork. Two important links as I wrap up. The guiding document is something that you should have received via email. That is what I'm using as part of my presentation today. So please take a look at this link, and you can also find it through the school district website. And then another important link is school lunch benefits. Breakfast is free for everybody, but school lunch will go back this year to being fee-based. We encourage all families to apply for free or reduced lunch benefits for several reasons. Number one is that we're a Title I school, and Title I is dependent upon the majority of families who are eligible, not use, but are eligible for free or reduced price lunch. And so we encourage all families to apply just because there might be circumstances you're unaware of or eligibility that you're unaware of, and that helps our school to earn Title I dollars. This year, our budget is approximately $150,000, and that tremendously helps our school and our goal of supporting your children. So there's the application. If you will please take some time to fill that out, but it's also going to be needed if you want to utilize free or reduced lunch benefits for your child each day. So that is it for me. Thank you all for listening. When you get this via email, you will also see a link to submit questions, and then I'll look at your questions this upcoming week. I will continue to listen to the school district for any updates, and then I'll do another one of these videos late next week before school begins to update you again. So thank you again for your support. This is more than ever. These last 2 school years and into the future, our partnership is very important. So please continue to be open and communicate with me regarding the health and safety of your child and family, because it does impact the other students in the room, and we'll work together to be sure that everybody is healthy and safe at school. So thank you. Take care, and please be on the lookout for our second video coming up later next week.